The Yorkshire Dales are breathtaking. With sweeping valleys carved by meandering rivers, there's something majestic around every corner.
It's no wonder the locals call it God's own country.
In this episode, I'm exploring Wensleydale. I'll check out the hills that test the world's best cyclists.
Oh yeah, it's a steep bit.
I'll meet someone whose home is their castle.
I can really feel 600 years of history.
And there's a close-up encounter with a family of beautiful Dales dormice.
Look at that. There's a whole bunch of them. It's a beauty.
Come and join me in the Yorkshire Dales. The Yorkshire Dales is Britain's third biggest national park and one of the most popular. More than 23,000 people live here, but each year almost 5 million come to visit. Like me, they're attracted by the sense of space and a distinctive landscape and culture. And no visit to the Dales would be complete without a trip to Wensleydale. My journey is starting high in the hills at Garsdale before heading off down the valley towards the market town of Hawes. After that, I'll follow the River Ure, stopping at picturesque Aysgarth Falls before taking in the sights and sounds of Bolton Castle and finishing in the small town of Leyburn. Garsdale station has to be one of the most scenic in Britain. It sits on the Settle-Carlisle railway line, connecting the Dales to the rest of the UK.
Well, that's the way to come to Garsdale. A perfect start to my Wensleydale journey, and I can't wait to get going.
Getting around in the Dales is sometimes easier said than done. But in this part of the world, the locals run their own bus services. And I'm going to hitch a lift to take me the 6 miles from Garsdale to Hawes.
Well, the little white bus, I've seen these around, Richard. Now I'm going to get on one, but what's the story?
Well, like many places in the UK, we were going to lose our local services, so our local councillor fought for this and decided we can do it with volunteers and a few paid people as well, but it's grown and grown. We've got 10 of these now.
The typical response is, oof, it's a government cutback, nothing we can do about it. But your team said, we can fight this, we can do something.
Yeah, the locals are just brilliant. They just will never say, no, we can't do that, or we'll take it. No, they'll say, well, why? We don't want this.
Well, I'm ready to start my journey. What do you think?
Jump aboard.
Yes, please.
Hawes, here we come.
All right, on my way to Hawes. Thank you, mate.
The community-owned bus service started in 2011. Now more than 70 volunteers run them all over the Dales.
I've always loved this coming into Wensleydale bit along here. Garsdale Head, you know?
Yes, yes, I know what you mean. That's why I came to live at this end of the Dale, because you've got this, it's remote, and yet, well, it's not, because here we are on a bus.
Yep.
It's brilliant, really. It's not a bad job for a driver, is it?
Yeah.
Initial forecasts predicted 3,000 passengers a year. These buses now carry 20 times that number to places like Hawes. Wensleydale cheese put Hawes on the map, but the creamery nearly closed in the early 90s and hundreds of jobs were only saved by a management buyout. For local councillor John Blackie, it was the start of the Hawes fight back.
Always like that sense of a thriving market town in Hawes, John.
Oh, it is thriving.
You know, you pitch up in
Yes.
that marketplace, and
Yes.
it's got a great sense about it, you know?
It's a great oasis. In the summer, we have wonderful floral displays. In
Yeah,
the
no
winter
kidding.
time, our Christmas lights, they're as good as
I bet
Oxford
it's
Street.
fun as Christmas.
They are fabulous. You drive for miles in pitch, and you come across Hawes, and you think you found paradise. Paradise. This community will never, ever, ever accept no for an answer when there's even that much of a chance of getting yes.
And it feels to me as being the perfect response to challenging times.
It has to be, yes, but you need some essential ingredients in the character of your communities. There's a streak of granite, a streak of cussedness, which is necessary. And that really we've been able to build onto and build into a wonderful team of people serving a wonderful community.
The spirit of self-reliance in this town of 1,000 people is tangible. And as well as the buses, the locals also run their own post office, library and petrol station.
Well, Jill, word has reached me that you are the busiest woman in Wensleydale. Right, what do you do?
Well, I drive a 16-seater bus. I drive kids to school in the morning, pick them up in the evening. I love doing that. And then I also work in the post office, the community office, the library. I help manage some units that we've taken on. And also now I'm doing some in our garage that we've recently taken, which is the very first community-owned garage in England.
And when people talk about community action, in some places that means small individual community actions, but here in Hawes, it's big stuff, isn't it?
It is big stuff, yes. In a lot of towns that I have lived in, people expect things to be done for them, whereas places like Hawes and other deeply rural communities, they don't expect it.
But the folk from this corner of Yorkshire aren't just helping themselves. I'm off to meet a farmer who's offering a taste of life in the Dales to some of society's most underprivileged people.
There you go.
Yeah, they're going
got
now.
them, yep.
We've
That's
got them set off now.
Okay.
It's a cold morning, but Rodney Beresford is already hard at work.
Lie down. Lie down.
I'm giving him a hand, but there's also a few other helpers from an asylum and refugee group from Darwin in Lancashire.
Thanks, Rodney.
It's surprising what some of them know about farming, and they do things different to what we do. And
Right.
they learn something and we learn something.
We walk behind them?
Yeah, fast. You have to keep going
Okay.
fast.
Rodney's sheep need a bit of a clean-up, so a bloke from Essex and two chaps from Iran and Afghanistan are about to become an unlikely international sheep herding team.
We're going to get them in the corner. Can't get them through the flipping gate.
Come on, sheepy.
Go on.
Rodney's one of a number of farmers working with the Dales charity that brings people to the countryside. And for many, it's a big learning curve.
I really like it because it feels like a very natural way
Yeah.
for people to get to know Yorkshire, Yorkshire Dales, England, you know, the UK. Why not get to know people through farming skills?
Oh, I make them work. They catch all the lambs at lambing time, and we tail them and mark them up and put them out onto the fell for summer. They can't believe I put them all up the hill for the summer, and they stay there till I need them back in again.
In my country, sheep in the field and don't go outside.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you
not
can't-
safe.
No.
Yeah.
We don't have any wolves. We don't want any wolves.
For more than a decade, the project has given people from the Dales a deeper understanding of those who've escaped countries in conflict.
Well, a lot of people come from places where there's war or torture, and they come from horrific situations. Many of the people from Afghanistan, Pakistan, Kurdistan may have come from farms, have grown up on farms. So to come out and see Rodney doing what he's doing makes them feel human again.
I thought it'd be the worst job I've ever done, but it's turned out to be the best thing I've ever done. When they first come, and they go end at day, you can see a total difference.
Word about the Dales is certainly spreading across the globe, and much of that is down to one sporting activity, because Yorkshire has become hooked on cycling.
I've always loved bikes. I've got road bikes, mountain bikes. I have 2 penny farthings, and I've even got a unicycle. But my new and rapidly becoming favourite way of getting around is this thing.
This is my tandem, double the power and twice the enjoyment. You can't beat a bicycle made for two, even if sometimes they need a bit of putting together.
Here she is. She's alive.
All sorts of cyclists come to the Dales, but I've arranged to team up with a special group of tandem riders from Huddersfield. Half the group are visually impaired.
Louise, how much can you see?
So I can't see anything. I've been blind since birth. Yeah, I can ride a bike and did a bit when I was younger, but it's about, you can get further on a tandem.
I did have sight in the beginning, gradually lost it.
Yeah.
My vision is practically non-existent.
And Chris?
I was sighted till I was 13, and then it just went as I got older, and now I'm 23, so it's gone quickly.
This is my first time steering whilst providing a bit of running commentary. These guys, though, are old hands.
We sprang out of another visually impaired charity which had 1 or 2 tandems. We now ride up to 11 or 12 tandems on a Saturday, and great fun for everybody involved.
Well, Tarek, I'm looking forward to this. You and me are going to ride together, mate. But what is it you need from me? Do you want me to tell you what's coming, you know, like bumps or hills or corners, or we're going to change
Hills
gears?
is always useful. Hills is always useful to know.
It's
obviously because you need to know how much power you need to give to the pilot. But having said that, when you're out, it's nice to know what kind of environment you're in.
Tarek?
Okay.
I'm going to be the pilot of my bike. Tarek will be the stoker, giving it lots of welly.
Well, it's a good road because coming up is an easy hill up. I'll change the gear. There we go. Changed gear. That's better. And again, another gear.
Yeah.
So, Tarek, can you sense the landscape around us?
Absolutely, yeah. It's amazing. I can tell that we're in open country. I can hear the sheep. I can hear the cows. I guess there's some sort of steep thing on our right. I think maybe, I don't know, a hill.
There is, yes, it goes up to
yeah.
the right. I love it that you can sense all that quite clearly.
You can just tell from the acoustics.
And of course, the smells.
Yeah, oh, well, you can't miss the smells, can you?
Not
when
here.
you're in the Dales, absolutely not.
Farm country in the Dales. We've got a couple of cyclists coming the other way now, Tarek. Quite fast ones.
Wow. They were going at some pace, weren't they?
Fast, yeah.
It's great meandering through the countryside on the tandem, but it's time for another bike ride with a fearsome reputation. Wish me luck. This is Buttertubs Pass. It's nearly 3 miles to the summit with a gradient of almost 20%. When the Tour de France came to Yorkshire in 2014, this hill was covered by cycling fans. Today, I'm giving it a go, in the company of leading Yorkshire cyclist Annie Simpson.
So we're about to do Buttertubs. I don't know anything about it, and I'm now going to cycle it with a professional cyclist. So any tips? What do I need to know?
Head up, take a look at what you're doing, get into a nice rhythm. A lot of people like to hit the bottom of a climb really, really fast, and it's just, for a climb that long, it's just not really doable. So you just got to get into your own pace, and yeah, just enjoy it, because you're in Yorkshire.
So Buttertubs awaits. To reach the top, I'll have to do more than 900 feet of vertical climbing. I think I'm looking forward to it.
It's steep, it's a proper Yorkshire climb, you know.
Right.
And grippy roads as well, you know, the road surface, it's hard, you know, it's not like the roads you'd come across abroad. You can't be doing rides around here and trying to avoid the climbs because you wouldn't go anywhere.
You wouldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
We're halfway up the first steep bit, but blimey, there's still a long way to go.
You're doing the right thing, you know, getting out the saddle.
Easy gear.
Yep, easy gear, not putting too much sort of strain on the legs because it is a long climb and you don't want to use all your energy in these first few steep inclines.
Wow. It is flipping beautiful.
Strange satisfaction that comes with tackling these sort of climbs.
You're telling me.
Good old Buttertubs.
Okay, Annie, what do you reckon? Race to the top?
All right then.
Within seconds, Annie's just a speck in the distance, and I'm gasping for breath. But with the pressure off, I can really see what makes Buttertubs so special. Cyclists come from all over the world to test themselves in the Dales, and this hill is putting me through my paces. While I continue to struggle, Annie has reached the summit and he's patiently waiting for me to finish.
Oh, yay.
Hi, how was it?
Thank you, Annie. I'll tell you, that was fun. Like a rocket ship, you know. Just left me standing. Thank you so much. I'll tell you, what a way to experience Buttertubs.
You did really well.
Cycling is a great way of seeing the Dales, but if you're in Wensleydale, there's one place you mustn't miss. Aysgarth Falls is one of Yorkshire's natural wonders.
It's always beautiful, but I reckon the best time to come is just after a heavy rain, because look.
Over thousands of years, the thundering River Ure has cut through the soft shale, leaving the harder limestone behind. There are 3 sets of falls, spread out over almost a mile of river, but they're not the only sight worth seeing, because the woods next door are home to one of the UK's most endangered animals. Dormice are the kings of cute. With their big eyes, massive whiskers and ginger fur, they're the poster boys of the rodent world. But their good looks didn't help them in the 19th century, when habitat destruction led to their local extinction. In 2008, they were reintroduced to Aysgarth, and now National Park staff regularly check on their progress.
All right, and what are the chances?
Well, we never know. We've got 255 of these nest boxes scattered throughout the wood. So hopefully some of them today, when we're out and about, we'll have dormice in.
255?
Yeah, there's a lot of boxes, but we need to make sure we monitor the population. So what we do is we just get a duster.
Yep.
We move in, we carefully block the hole in case there is anything in the nest box.
Yep, okay.
And then we carefully lift the lid. But unfortunately, that one's empty.
It's not an easy job. 254 to go.
It's a long day through the wood to get them, but
okay.
All worth it in the end.
Hunting dormice, no one said it was going to be easy.
Not an easy job.
It's like looking for a needle in a haystack. You could say I'm playing a curious form of dormice bingo. I just need a full house, and the trail might be hotting up.
Very careful looking. Right, we have a nest.
Right, make sure that's properly plugged, eh? Right, this could be it then. This could be my first dormouse.
Hopefully so.
Okay.
So we take the box off.
Yep.
We put it in this bag here.
Yep.
And there we
there
have.
you go. There's a whole herd of them.
Our first dormice of the day.
Look at that. There's a whole bunch of them.
This year, from other sites we monitored, we seem to have between 3 and 5 young. We can tell these are young of the year because they're relatively small. They are quite grey. If we do get an adult dormice, you can see they're this lovely bright orange colour. So the idea is now to try and catch them without them escaping. As you can see, they're very active.
What do you want me to do?
If you just hold the bag like that.
Yeah.
So
Dormice are protected, and these boxes mustn't be disturbed. Ian's licensed to hold them and show me how they're suited for woodland life.
Oh, well done, you've got him. Okay. Oh, yeah, he's a beauty.
we can see the big long,
Yeah, furry tail.
which again it'll use for holding onto branches.
This little family are weighed, sexed and returned to their nests. It's hoped more hedgerows will lead to new areas being colonised, making the Dales a dormice stronghold for centuries to come. The next day, I've travelled further into Lower Wensleydale to take a close look at an industry that's worth £3.5 billion to the UK economy. This is horse training country, and at Sun Hill Farm, the hard graft starts early.
Here it is, 6:30 in the morning. Most of Britain is still waking up. The horse racing business have been at work for an hour, and I'm going to go and get stuck in with them.
Head lad James Richards gets the horses ready.
I'm all yours.
So, we have a barrow and fork there, and we just kick on, you know?
Okay, mate.
Yeah? You could get in this stable here.
Yeah.
James has been around horses all his life.
What we do is shake it up, we throw it on the wall, so everything comes down, you know? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's the way to do it.
Yeah. I make sure all the horses are having their breakfast, make sure their legs okay, so that when the trainer comes out around 6 o'clock,
yeah,
I will tell how I look. we're going to take this horse off the riding list because something wrong.
Very good to have a little bit of hard labour in the morning to sort of warm up. Feels very satisfying, better than my usual run.
Trainer Anne Duffield lives and breathes horse racing and is a leading light in the industry. But just how did this part of the world become synonymous with the racing game?
The breed of the thoroughbred started right here in Yorkshire. There were 3 stallions and they were mated with 87 mares, half-bred mares, and they all resided here in this area and between here and Bedale. So actually, the roots of the thoroughbred breed are in Yorkshire, nowhere else.
Fantastic, I like that.
The racing pays the bills, but Anne has also diversified.
OK, James?
Her place is something of an equine health spa. They're weighed, some get the solarium treatment, and others are exercised on a treadmill with a difference.
You may wonder what's going on. And for that matter, I'm not too sure myself. But what's supposed to happen is the door's going to shut in a moment, loads of water's going to come in here, and I'm going to experience what it's like to be a horse undergoing hydrotherapy training.
It's all about keeping horses fit and increasing their stamina. And if it's good enough for a 4-legged creature, it's got to be doing me some good, right?
But I can feel the training effect, no doubt about that. Well, I have to tell you, it's a lot harder than it actually looks. I'm concentrating now.
But this machine was designed for proper athletes, like this top-flight eventer who's having a full workout.
And it really builds their core strength. It works their abdominal muscles, which no amount of ridden work can really do. Yeah, it builds up their neck, their top line, builds their hamstrings. There's 1/4 ton of Epsom salts in every tank load of water we do.
Okay.
Epsom salts are magnesium, as you'll know, and magnesium is a known calmer for horses, and the vapours off the Epsom salts are also good for sinuses.
And of course, you're using language that we use for human athletes.
Yeah,
You know,
probably.
it's exactly
Well,
the same
they're
language.
just the same, yeah.
It's great to see Yorkshire's horses in such fine fettle, but I've left them behind to head for one of Wensleydale's man-made marvels. Bolton Castle's dominated the area for more than 600 years. It took 2 decades to build, and it's blimmin' massive.
Oh, thank you for bringing us in this way.
No, it's a pleasure. Come on in, Paul.
Has to be the way to enter a castle.
The castle's remained in the hands of the same family, and the day-to-day running now rests with Tom Ord-Poulet.
I like coming under the spiky things too.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it definitely adds to the atmosphere. And here we are in the courtyard.
Wow, what a great feeling in here. It feels, you know, solid, but it's got a sort of bit of a threatening sort of thing going on to it.
Yeah, absolutely. It was built to be strong enough to withstand raids by border reivers and things, but it wasn't strong enough to withstand attack by sort of heavy artillery and cannons. During the Civil War, it held out for 6 months of siege, but after that 6 months, Cromwell ordered the sort of heavy cannon and artillery to be sent up. And after a day of bombardment, they'd done most of the damage that you see now, and the castle fell.
The castle's in a fair few chapters of the history books, including a time when the religious and political future of our islands was at stake.
So these are the stairs that lead up to the southwest tower, Paul. That is still fully intact. We can get up.
In the 16th century, Bolton Castle became the temporary residence of the Catholic Mary Queen of Scots.
She was a guest here for 6 months in 1568, 1569. She'd lost the Battle of Langside up in Scotland, and she fled to England and sought refuge from Elizabeth. She was brought here for her, safekeeping, and she wasn't free enough to go and raise an army and re-invade Scotland. And, she was sort of dynamite.
Mary was eventually moved from the Dales, and years later, after a series of plots, was executed. This grand castle is a window into another world, but nearby, there's something that's rooted a bit more in the present. My Wensleydale journey started by train, so it's fitting I'm leaving on one. This line used to take people all the way to Hawes and beyond, but it closed to passengers in the 1950s. But 30 years ago, a group of enthusiasts hatched a plan to reopen it.
And that dream eventually became a reality, and now regular services run on this line. Just look at that thing. She's a beauty.
This little diesel unit is almost 60 years old and is part of the Wensleydale Railway, which runs for 22 miles between the Vale of York and the Yorkshire Dales.
We're just checking to make sure that the train is ready to run, that there's nothing broken. We're going to check the oil on it first.
I'm just a few miles from my end destination of Leyburn, but before she sets off, this old girl needs some TLC.
There's something very exciting about getting your hands on a train, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great feeling.
It's something I've wanted to do since I was sort of that high.
I bet, me too.
Yeah. Right. So, pull this out slightly.
Yeah.
Not a long way, just slightly.
Yeah.
And push the start button.
Okay, mate.
Go on.
Great. Starting the train.
Now just push the throttle in, and it'll just tick over.
Beautiful.
It's a bit like looking after a vintage car.
Yes.
You know, you've got to treat it with love.
Without volunteers, there wouldn't be a railway. Sue Threadgold is its first female guard, and she hopes to take it further.
To be a driver, if that's the course that you want to go through, you start off as a level crossing keeper first, and then to become a guard, a trainee guard, and then a guard. And then after I've got my feet, hopefully on the ground, my long-term ambition is to be a train driver on this line.
One day, Sue might be driving a train further into Wensleydale, if the line can be extended. That's the hope. But new track costs £1 million a mile. Meanwhile, this little train, which is known as a bubble car, continues its Yorkshire Dales shuttle.
So the view is actually pretty good. Is that why it's called a bubble car? I mean, I'm interested why it doesn't look like a bubble car.
I don't think any of us really know, but the best solution that I've had to that so far is that because it's a train that has a driving cab at each end, so everything is contained within that bubble.
Oh, I see.
It was given the nickname, and it stuck.
And let's face it, Gordon, if you're going to be a train driver, you may as well do it right here.
You're absolutely right. The views from the front of the train, quite spectacular.
Yeah,
I don't think you can beat the Dales, and this bit of Wensleydale from Leyburn upwards is probably the best bit of the track.
Great. Everyone loves the train, right?
Yep, everyone loves the train.
Wensleydale is a wonderful place to explore, by foot, bike or train. Leyburn is the end of the line, but I know I'll be back, because when it comes to a Yorkshire Dales adventure, this place is difficult to beat. Join me next time when I'm in Wensleydale, where I check out an explosion of colour and have a close shave while deep underground.